ladies and gents. Welcome to COMMS Cave, if you want to call it that. I hope you're all well. Monday evening. No doubt everyone's had a long day of work, a longer weekend, probably have enjoying the sunshine, maybe a barbecue or two. So yeah, it's good to get back doing this. That's all good. Right, we can close that off. So here we are, Mixed Mondays. Let's just sit in the pits for a moment. We'll sit in with GT Jamie. So Mixed Mondays, we know GT3s, GT4s. This is round 2 of this really short 4-round sprint. However, this is season 5 of Mixed Mondays, and last Monday we had some epic racing, and I just think the whole mixture, obviously, of the GT3s and the GT4s and what that brings with it in terms of being able to navigate your way through the different vehicles just adds so much jeopardy. It is fantastic. So last week, if you remember, if you haven't watched, you need to go back and rewatch it. Clarkey actually was his first race with us and won that race, but it was deemed by stewards, etc. There was some extra teamwork going on, and he actually incurred a penalty, as did the other drivers, which, if you also remember, Ben Milden came through literally on the last turn, because Clarkey and Keno have been having a mammoth battle for the entire race, and Ben Milden came through literally on the parabolica and almost took the win outright in actual real race terms, but that was obviously awarded to him post-race. So yeah, it was exciting last week. And Ben's in. Hello mate, how are you? Ben says hi in the live chat. Good luck tonight. I've been having a watching practice. There's some interesting times going on out there. And I did a little while ago, let's go and sit in Ben's car just while we're talking about him. I did a little while ago, actually, I was on board with Jetpacker, who set in a blistering pace in this free practice session. And it was a green track when he put that 128, 134 in. But there were some GT4 cars out on track at one point, and just having to navigate those. You know, Donington is a twisty, really fast flowing circuit at the best of times. And you throw in GT4s, people are going to have their wits about them massively this evening. Traction Dave is in. Hello Traction, I hope you're well mate. I enjoyed our little debut on PC on Friday. That was interesting. You did very well there mate. Ben says he came from 8th. Such a fun race. It was. Well, let's see what you can do tonight. If you can stick that Merc a little bit higher up the grid mate, let's see what happens. So race format for this evening, Mixed Mondays. So it is a 20-minute qualifying session. GT3s get 10 minutes at the beginning to set their quickest times, and then the GT4s come out. They have a 10-minute session. What can happen, of course, if you're smart and in a GT4 car, you can obviously make your way to the end of the pit lane, but obviously you can't embark upon, or you can't cross that line until the 10-minute timer obviously clicks through. So I'm sure we'll see some of that going on this evening. Traction says it was great, going to be even better at Lozano on Friday. He's got his alien mask on. Good, gladly. I've got some nice beautiful stuff set up for the live stream as well for Friday. Hopefully it won't go as it did last Friday at the beginning, which I'm sure it won't. So Ben actually decided he's going to come out and do a lap and wants to be famous. So we've got 12 minutes left of this free practice session, and then we will get into qualifying. You can see in terms of conditions, yeah, it is good old East Midlands weather. It's looking pretty dull and cloudy. Sorry any Leicester fans out there, but 19 degrees ambient, 24 on track. So in terms of actual racing conditions, they're very, very good. Yeah, the coolness of the air is going to allow those engines to push out a little bit more horses, and the track temperature is not going to melt any tyres. So we definitely should be seeing some quick laps. Obviously, when we get into qualifying, we will do a full lap guide as we do every week. And we'll pick one of the quicker chaps and we'll go through that. Now, what I found very interesting last week in terms of the commentary side was having those, a little bit of a moment there for Ben, watching the GT4 guys in the mix. It was just so interesting to see you've got two races playing out at the same time. In terms of strategy, everyone has to do a pit stop, so there's no choice in that. You have to do a stop, and it's a 25-second fixed stop for fuel, so you don't have to take tyres. So again, if you throw these things in, People may elect to change tyres, people may elect not to change tyres, you know, so as the race develops you're going to see a lot of different plays all coming together, which is fantastic. So again, good evening everyone, we've got a few watching now. Welcome back. COMMS by Coops, it's up there. Please leave a like. I'm going to say that 58 times throughout this stream, and that's the first one, so 57 left to go, so please leave a like. Yeah, and we can start figuring out what's going to happen this evening. Now granted, there's only been one round so far, but in the spirit of things, and to keep everybody up to speed, let's have a quick run through. So in terms of the GT3 drivers, leading that championship is the guy we're on board with at the moment, Ben Milding, courtesy of that win. He's on 40 points. Kino is second on 39 points, and then Jetpacker is third on 36 points. Tooney is fourth on 34 points, then we've got AMS on 32, Clarkey on 30, obviously had some points deducted there from the time penalty. Yavoltum is 7th on 28 points, King of the Hills is 8th on 26, Ben Gallagher is 9th, is 9th on 24 points, Hokley's 10th on 22, and then we've got Action is Beamer, he's 11th on 20 points. Goofy is 12th with 19, Steph is 13th and his car's 13, and his name is Steph 13, and he doesn't have 13 points, he's got 17, so maybe he should ask for a reduction. Law's 14th on 16 points, Daz Parker's 15th with 15 points, Drew the Great is 16th on 14, then we've got Two Shot for You on 13 points, and then Mitchell 88, who couldn't race with us last week, is currently 18th. So that is your GT3 driver standings. Now onto the GT4s. Let's catch everybody up with that. Michael Races currently leading that one on 40 points in his Porsche. Crazies is second on 38 points. Marty Road Racing is third on 36 points. SJ Disco is fourth on 34 points. Andy Cray fifth on 32, and then Palermo's, I always get your name wrong, you'll have to tell me. He's 6th on 30 points. Optic Shadow is 7th on 28. Caskanova's 8th on 26, and then TK Drifter is 9th on 25 points. Now you will remember last week, TK Drifter is, in my humble opinion, no, he's not the first person to take the number 13. That's Gamer Dad's number. And it's actually my teammate Timmy Blunder's number, who he had to have a little bun fight with Gamer Dad about. So there you go. Where was I? Yeah, so last week GT4. So the GT3 race was epic. The GT4 race, I mean, that was equally as controversial. TK Drifter is well known within Formula Racing League as being, in my opinion, from watching all the time, I think probably the best GT4 driver we've got in the stable. And he was proving that last week. He was miles ahead, and I mean a good 10 seconds down the road in his class, and I think he got disconnected, which was such a shame. So didn't actually, I know he got the points, but you know, he didn't physically finish that race in that respect, so obviously get given the points at the end for last place in that class. But I'm expecting him to be firing tonight. I'm expecting him to want to get those points back. And the same with Michael and you know, Michael and Crazies, they're always battling, excellent drivers as they are, so I expect that to continue. And I know Michael's not really enjoying that Porsche round here, or wasn't earlier on, let's put it that way, so we'll see if he's managed to get hold of her a little bit more, as we're still on board with Ben. Let's pop up with Jetpacker, seeing as he is currently the quickest out on track. 7.5 minutes left of this free practice session. Georgie Priest, good luck to the drivers. Thanks for the comms, Coop. You are more than welcome, my friend. Always. Always. I have nothing else to do in the evenings. By the time I pack those kids off to bed, not as many as you, obviously. Georgie Priest's got 7. He's got like a little Amazon warehouse of children there. But yeah, by the time I've got mine off to sleep, mate, it's FRL all the way, and just have things thrown at me from the wife. So there's 34, that's Crazies, and his Beamer that we're just making our way past at the moment. So we're a fast track now, so it was green earlier, so I am expecting a quicker lap time on our Jetpacker. Had a great race last week as well. Then we've got a lot of stuff coming on, obviously, as you would expect. So obviously this is season 5 of Mixed Monday, so there'll be 2 more rounds after this one. The ridiculously epic Taco Tuesdays returns tomorrow, so don't miss that. If you're not driving in that, you've got to get on board and watch. So I think we've got a full grid out on the PS4, and listen to this. We've got 2 tiers running for the PS5. Such has been the uptake, as expected, from word of mouth and other people figuring out what's going on over here at FRL. There are 2 tiers running tomorrow, which is going to be, well, again, it sets everything up beautifully. You know, more individuals, fuller grids. I am really looking forward to that, and that's going to be a 10 race season, so longer than last year as well, which is last season, which is great. It's fabulous. Where can you find all this information? Quite simply on the website www.formularacinglleague.co.uk. Say it every week. I say all of this stuff every week, really. Have a look on there. That will show you all the different series we've got running. Show you all the driver standings. It will show you the upcoming races. If anyone's new to Formula Racing League and this is first time watching one of the live streams, you can pick up a lot of information from there, as well as any merch that you want to get hold of, or you know, Patreon, any of those bits you can all find on the league, which is great. And I don't know if it was official last week, but FRL on PC has topped out on the groups for Discord. Number one group, the most people that are involved, the most people that are following, the most events. So again, we're pushing on in our bid to dominate ACC. Simple as that, really. I think we're all quite set on that at the moment. So Jetpacker didn't go quick on his last lap, and obviously you'd see my point there, he's not going to on this lap, so he massively backed out there into old hairpin and had to back out even further because there's a GT4 car in front of him. So you've got to think he's probably not going to take these guys a million laps to catch back up to the GT4s, and as soon as that starts to happen, we're all in for a treat. That's an awesome stat. It is an awesome stat. It is. But you know what's a better stat, Dave? Is you've done a PC race, an official PC race, and did brilliantly well. A friend of yours hasn't yet. Oh, that's a stat. That's a stat you want to tell him. Well, he'll probably be listening now and he's probably cursing me, but there you go. Right, let's have a quick look. Driver check-in. We've got a few minutes left of free practice. Let's get everybody up to speed with who is able to drive with us this evening and who isn't. So in the GT4, so Ben's in, Goofy's in, Ash is in, Ams, King of the Hills, Clarky, Jetpacker, Yavolton, Ben Gallagher's in, Jay, Steph, Tooney, Two Shot for You, and Keenan. In terms of individuals that can't make it this evening, we've got Law, Tarek, don't know who that chap is, Optics, Michelin, Drew the Great, and Redeemer Dans are not able to join in with us this evening. On the GT4 side, Andy Cray, Cascanova, SJ Disco, TK Drifter, Marty Road Racing, Michael Races, Crazies, Polermod, no idea, and Bruges are in on the GT4's reserves. GT Jamie's in, Shigs, Mario, Cheese, and Drewbog. As always, very special names given to all racing drivers by their parents. And yeah, certainly one thing I'm having to get used to on the PC side. He tells him every day. I bet you do, mate. Bet you do, Dave. One of the things I really was quite an eye-opener on Friday on the PC side, because obviously on PC, everyone, it's their real names, right? So, you know, none of this amazing, you know, tags that we've got on the PlayStation, it's real names. So like Traction Dave, I'm sitting there talking about him on the race, and I'm trying not really hard not to call him Traction Dave, because obviously his first name isn't Traction, although he might like that. So yeah, it's all good fun, and there were some very exotic names in that grid, which again is testament to how great FRL is doing at the moment across all the platforms. That there was people in there from, you know, literally all over the world. So yeah, I've got a lot of brushing up to do on that front. So 1 minute and 40 left of the free practice session. We haven't had any quicker times up front from Jetpacker. GT Jamie's half a second behind, as is Keenan. That looks like that could be a good battle. And then only a tenth down the road is Ben. in his Merc. Clarkey, as you would expect, I mean, he drove extremely well last week, evidently has a lot of pace. He's a further 10th behind, and then Ben Gallagher, who I've been really impressed with since he's been with us. I know he just put the time in, which everybody should do. He's a second off the pace in 6th. And then we've got Goofy, King of the Hills, Steph and Ash are making up your top 10 currently. GT4 wise, Michael Races is currently quickest in the GT4s, 8 seconds off the pace of the lead GT3 car. Crazy's is 3 tenths behind him, and then a further 3 tenths back is Marty Road Racing. So usual suspects there indeed. Andy Cray, Drifter, I'm sure he's going to improve in the KTM. Bruges, Paloma Cascanova and SJ Disco, that makes up your GT4 class. So as he decides to dump it in the pits, I did just talk to about Ben and said he's got a good pace in the Audi. He's just put it from 6th, yeah, I believe it was 6th to 2nd, so he's cut that down nicely. We've got some interesting chat going on at the moment between Traction and George. Lunchtime in the States, good. George, did you manage to catch hold of that chat that I put over to you earlier on? Let me know, be good. Traction's favourite time of the day. Yeah, we've seen you on top of the garage, we can tell that. A great entertainment to go with it. And GT Jamie's in. Hola! Hola, Jamie. That was my science impression there. Right, so free practice is finished. We're going to move into qualifying. Remember, 10 minutes for the GT3 cars, and then they will finish their session. 10 minutes for the GT4 cars. That will set the grid for the race. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Did anyone else watch the? I know I shouldn't really say it. Did anyone else watch the F1 yesterday? The post-race interviews with that chap. I have no idea who he is, by the way, and I don't intend on looking it up. But he was on another planet, and Carlos, when he finished his interview with me, was just like, right, okay, who took me to that retirement home? But there you go. The car's going to kill me, fact, says Michael. Well, it will if you're like on the utter ragged edge in first place, you know. Then it might kill you, but it might not. Who knows? Track's gone up by a degree, still fast only. I wonder if we will see a little bit of weather this evening. Just looking pretty windy there, you know, the flag's going away. Again, if anyone's new watching, you know, I don't have a choice. This is the view we have on the PS5. I could change to another in-car camera, but I like this one. You get to see enough action going on, so this is it. We can't change between the different external and internal cameras. If I press drive, I'm in the grid, and it's as simple as that. So, GT3s commence for qualifying. Michael's got to chill out now and give everyone a load of stick in the chat, no doubt. So, who have we got on the way out first? So, Ben's out there. He's following Jetpacker, right. So, again, you've got two very, well, obviously all the cars are very contrasting within ACC, but all obviously extremely competitive due to the balance of performance that the series operates, which is fantastic. And again, I'll give this a little plug now. Yeah, qualify. I don't know. I'm not in charge, Michael. Qualifying. I'm not in charge. Michael says everyone should be banned from qualifying so we can win. No, he doesn't. Yeah, if any of you guys are watching this and thinking, look, you know what, I'd like to have a go on the GT4s, or you know, I'm fairly new. I'm not sure what I'd like to do on the GT3 side. You know, they all look great or whatever. Have a look on my channel, COMMS by Coops. There's a little series on there called Coops Cars. We're currently making our way through every single car in the game. We've done 6 so far on the GT3 side. The last one was the Ferrari, and the 2 Beamers prior to that. We're going to make our way through those, and then we'll move on and do all the GT4s. So you will have a nice little library there of bite-size reviews. Scazzetti said he's fighting with his car more than the other drivers. Yeah. And Georgie did get in touch. Good. 25 different active drivers in Thursday Night Thunder. Fantastic. Just whilst Ben comes on to his fast lap, I will mention that actually. Yes, we do have a lot of individuals from different parts of the world within FRL, and as part of us trying to be massively inclusive and, you know, keep opening up other areas that people can get involved, we do have a dedicated US server which is run by Georgie Priest and Wheeler Kevin, and they run a series on a Thursday night called Thursday Night Thunder, and that is obviously geared towards everybody in the States and further afield, so it fits in with your day, so you don't have to get up like I Am Slow does and race at 6 in the morning. So check it out. Anyway, so Ben's on a quick lap. Yeah, so we'll get into a full lap guide shortly. We'll let this one pass and then we'll see what he decides to do. Jeanette's a bit twitchy. I love the Jeanette around Donington. Skaz, I absolutely love it around Donington. She's fantastic. Okay, into the Fogarty S as we go. What's he doing? So he's gone second gear through there, so he obviously wants to get a bit more punch. Ah, Skaz went to Silverstone as well. King of the Hills was there as well, mate. King of the Hills enjoyed his time at Donington, at Silverstone at the weekend. I watched it on the TV. Shame I couldn't be there, but I was at Brands the week before, and you know, I can't do commentary on every series. My bank account isn't big enough for it. No, I'm joking. Right, anyway, fast lap. So, first corner is Redgate. We're going to cross the pit lane there. We're going to get down onto the brakes, second gear. You want to be tight there, and you want to start squeezing on the throttle quite early. Use all the exit on the left-hand side, and then you want to flick the car over to the right, touch that curve there, keep really tight here, and then be brave. Swing it left. And then as we're coming up to the board on the right, we're going to go down into third gear, and we're going to sweep. We sweep through old hairpin. Yeah, you can't be off the power too long there. Full throttle all the way through here. As we come up to Swans, we're going to be right on that curve, just into fifth gear. Then going to go down to second. Tuck her in. Again, you've just got to pause a little bit. Apex, then straight onto the power. Short sprint up towards Coppice, which is a double right-hander. Again, you've got to balance the car, so take a lot of curve on the inside, and then you slowly squeeze in on that power. Now, other people will be in second gear there, maybe do a early up change to third. Ben decided to stay in third and keep it stable. We've got the run down now towards Fogarty S's. Between the two braking boards there, we're going to get on the brakes, and you saw that he went to second and put it straight up into third, so he's trying to cut out the wheel spin as he's going through there and keep the car a little bit more stable. On the way down to the Melbourne hairpin, which is a really, obviously it's hairpin, a tight right hander, first gear. You can gain and lose a lot of time in these two hairpins, and then we've got a straight sprint up the hill towards Goddard's. Pirelli sign on the right, on the brakes, down into first, tuck her in, make sure we're clipping that curve nicely, then we're going to squeeze the throttle onto the Wheatcroft straight, across the start finish line. Where does that put Ben? Well, Ben's second at the moment. Jetpacker has done a 27.7 up front. That is an impressive time, so that's an improvement of 4 tenths on what he did in free practice. If you can believe it, 5 minutes have almost gone already of this 10-minute qualifying session. Should have done an FRL meet, yeah, no doubt. I missed out on Brand's tickets. Oh mate, I just bought them on the day. I just turned up. Right, so Jetpacker's first, Ben second, Clarkey obviously was part of that epic fight last week. He's currently third place. Kino is currently fourth in his Ferrari. Kino, I was talking to him earlier on today, quietly confident, but not overly so. Probably more cautious than anything else. So we'll see. I don't think Donny is one of his top tracks, but Kino's a more than capable driver. I'm sure he will be competitive. Our resident PS5 coach GT Jamie is currently 5th place, 1.7 off the pace. And then we've got Ash who's in the pits in the 444 Beamer. He's 1.9 off the pace as yeah, he takes his cue nicely and comes out. So we stick on Ash for a little while. Pokley's 7th, Cheese is 8th, and then Venom. I believe Venom and Cheese are brand new to us. I believe it's their first races with us this evening. So welcome, chaps. Good to have you with us. Enjoy tonight. It was going to be a bit crazy, no doubt. Goofy's in 10th, Steph's in 13th, 11th in 13th. Can't get 13 and Steph apart, can I really? So Steph's in 11th place, he's 2.6 off the pace, and then you've got your Volton 3 seconds down in the Bentley. That time's going to come down for sure. Shig's in number 8, Beamer, he's in 13th, Ams is 14th. Again, if you look at you're looking at the names on this list, yeah. And, you know, anyone external to FRL, you're going to look at these names and think, well, they don't mean anything to me. Of course, that's why you should come and join us and make it do mean something for you. But for those that are involved within FRL, I mean, these guys are quick. I mean, okay, 2Shot for you is new, very new, and fair play to him. It's his, I think it's his 3rd race that he's been involved in. Craig's in. Hello, Craig. How you doing? And then we've got King of the Hills who is out but hasn't set a time at the moment. So we're going to see how Ash can get on. GT Jamie's half a second down and has put it in the pits. just under 3 minutes left, so he's got to make a quick change and get out. It's obviously not a massively long lap round Donington. We're talking, as you can see, about 1:27s to 1:30s. So he should have enough time to get out and get another lap in as Ash crosses the line for his flying lap on the way down to Redgate. So so you're going to see throughout this lap, Ash and the Beamer, where the other cars are in second gear, he will be in third. And if you do have a look at the Coupes car section, you'll understand why. The Beamer has got excellent torque, yeah, all the way through the gears. So you can leave her in a higher gear. You know, she's not gonna get up the revs slower. She's quick at doing that. So that can obviously buy you a little bit of time and make the car more compliant, because you're not as busy in the car. So that does suit people. Again, it seems quite, you know, quite stable, quite sedate, really. Right, we have got 9 watching. Thank you, guys. All say hello to each other. Don't be scared to have a chat. No one's going to bite. I've got 6 likes. So this is the second time I'm going to say it this evening. I did say I was going to say it 58 times. Please leave a like. Yeah, takes half a second. Boom. Helps the channel massively. Gets FRL out to the masses. So please do leave a like if you haven't subbed. You know what to do. Please. Right, come on, Ash. Let's see what you've got in the tank. 2.6 off the pace at the moment. Jetpack has gone quicker again. Wow, that was a quick lap. That was a quick lap. We'll look at that in a moment. So Ash puts himself up to provisional 5th. We've only got a minute or so left, so people have got to be completing their qualifying runs now. So Jetpack has actually done a 27 flat, which is a quick lap. He's almost half a second ahead of Ben Milden. Great lap by you, Ben. Ben Gallagher is then only a couple of hundred behind him in third, and then we've got a gap all the way back, a further 8/10 back. Oh, look at that, Clarkey. Oh no. Jetpacker looks like he has been disconnected. Who's that coming on the track? Oh, that's going to ruin Ash's lap. So Clarkey's done a 27.2, which is a fantastic time. Goes provisional pole as the GT3 guys are now completing their laps. Was that 2 shot for you? I don't know. We'll find out later on. So that was unfortunate there, but it looks like Jetpack has been disconnected because he's left the server. Remember, he just did a 1:27 flat. So unless he's on a mission just to set the quickest times and leave, that is really unfortunate. Hopefully he'll be able to get reconnected and get back in before the race. He does obviously have 10 minutes. So the GT3 guys are all finishing their laps now. What you should be seeing is the GT4. The GT4 guy should be out. Why are you not out? Crazies, he's not daft, is he? Crazies knows what he's doing. He's gone straight out. The timing's gone past 10 minutes. They should be out there. So Clark, as it stands, is on pole. Ben is second, and then Ben Gallagher is third. 3/10 between those 3, and then GT Jamie is currently 4th. A further 8/10 behind, which is a lot. Keno's another 3/10 back in 5th, and then we've got Ash 6th, Pokley 7th, Goofy's in 8th. Drew Bug is in 9th, who's standing in tonight. Ham's 10th, Yvolton 11th, Cheese is 12th. Then we've got Venom 13th, Shigs, King of the Hills, Steph's in 16th, then 2 shot for you and 2 shot for you. So that is your grid potentially, unless anyone's got to cross the line one more time. But GT4s are out, ladies and gents. So we're on board with Crazies. They're all out on track apart from Cascalova. So maybe they've been caught out a little bit there, who knows. I suppose I better show you this. It is stone cold, I'm not going to drink it. Beautiful FRL coffee delivery device there. A little bit of this because it's better. Cool. So in case you just joined us and missed it, the GT3s have completed their 10-minute qualifying session. We are now in the beginning of the GT4 session. We're on board with Crazies. He got quite a big jump on everybody else actually, so he begins his flying lap as he goes into Redgate. Again, 3rd gear in that Beamer. You'll notice obviously same livery as Ash, they are teammates. Right, let's see what she's like through Craners. Nice and steady, down to third, sweep in, no, okay, yeah, right at the end, a little down change. Up towards Swanch, then into McLean's. Nice and tidy. It can feel, I mean, you know, we've just been sitting there watching the GT3s, which are, you know, they're rapid, aren't they? They look rapid, they sound rapid, they feel rapid. And the GT4s, they don't, obviously they're not GT3 cars, they don't feel or sound that way. But as I said last week, the GT4 racing is so close as we come up to the Fogarty S's. Beautiful lines through there, nice and steady. You know, the racing within the GT4 category is always extremely close, and is actually a lot of fun. So, coming away from the Melbourne hairpin up towards Goddard's, we're just going to find out in a moment what the first time is going to be in the GT4 class as Crazies sprints down towards the start-finish time. So where are we, Crazies? Okay, so wow, Michael goes 2/10 quicker in his Porsche. So first shots fired between these two. You've got to remember, in the championship, Michael is leading that championship and Crazies is second. There are 2 points between them in the championship. So let's see what happens. And SJ Disco pops a time in. So SJ Disco is a couple of seconds off their pace. Andy Craig popped a time in there, so he goes third in the GT4 class at the moment. Andy Craig had a really great race last week, actually. I was very, very impressed with him. So we'll see if he can replicate that this week. Then TK Drifter decides he's going to warm up and sticks a time in that will put him third in class, 20th overall, as Marty's also put a time in. And look at that, Marty Road Racing and Andy Cray. You couldn't get two more different cars. The Ginetta and the BMW both done exactly the same lap time. Yeah, they're 9.759 off the GT3 pace. So that's pretty cool. I love seeing that. It doesn't happen very often, but again, it just shows how close and competitive our drivers are. Ash says 6th is the best he could manage. Got delayed on the first lap. Yeah, I saw that, mate. I saw that. You caught that one. That was unfortunate, but mate, that's not a bad starting place. Things can happen from there. So Michael's coming up to complete his second lap. You can see Crazies is just in front of him going through Goddard's, coming onto the start-finish straight. Can Crazies improve? He can improve. He can improve. Well, does Michael improve? Can he take that pole back? Can he? No, he can't. So Crazies has eked a couple of tenths out of that Beamer, so he now sits just under 2 tenths ahead of Michael. Provisional pole in second place there. So Drifter, he's coming through the Melbourne hairpin in that KTM. Hopefully we'll get to see more of her this evening. We were we were robbed of it last week, weren't we? Yeah, we were. Through Goddard's then onto the start finish straight. Right, what's Drifter got? Come on, dude. What's he got? What's he got? Doesn't improve, or he's just going on to his fast lap. So he stays provisional third. Andy Cray's fourth. Marty Road Racing is fifth. Then we've got Barouche has put a lap in his Merc. He's in sixth. SJ Disco seventh. Cascanova eighth. And Palermojd is ninth in his Audi. So what have we got left? Just over 4 minutes. So these guys have got a couple of laps left in them if they've got the fuel. If not, I think it's time to duck in and make some changes. Track has now gone to optimum. So, you know, if anyone's going to be setting some lap times, is he still out on track? 2 shots, get off the track, bro. Alright, it's Crazies is thinking 2 shots. Oh, mate. We'll get there, we will. Alright, Crazies, can he extend? Can he extend that lead? It doesn't look like an improvement on that one. Michael comes across the line. Michael improves. Here we go. So the battle, as we expected, is taking place even in qualifying. It's back and forth, back and forth. Michael and Crazies are swapping fastest laps. Drifter, I'm sure he wants to get in this fight. Yeah, I know he's got the ability to get in this fight. It's just whether that KTM is going to give him what he needs. We shall soon find out. Right, just under 3 minutes left. Getting down to it now. Who's coming out the pits? Not 2 shots, seriously. It is 2 shots, so 2 shots have decided to come out and have another run. So TK Drifter, he does improve. Look at that, he is now only 3/10 off Michael, and he's only a 10th and a bit behind Crazy. So he's getting into some flow, but it looks like he's going to have an issue because 2 shots, blimey. I would like any of the GT3 chaps that are watching this, can you please send a message over to 2 shots and tell him to get off the track in the politest possible way, as it is the GT4 qualifying session, please. Right, Michael is still out up front, so he's looking to cement that pole position. We're just going to duck under 2 minutes now, so 2 flyers left if they're lucky. Obviously depending on where it is on the track they are now in terms of crossing that start finish line. If you do cross the line before that timer expires, you can then complete that lap that you move on to, as I'm sure everybody will be aware. So Michael, Crazies so Crazies has taken back provisional pole in the GT4 class. Michael is now, he's got to put in his best lap of the day. There's a couple of attempts there, and Andy Cray, well, he's not out of it, is he? So he's put his little Ginny up into provisional 3rd with Drifter in 4th place, so it's all to play for. Andy decides that's it for now. So can TK Drifter reclaim or do better than that 3rd place? Mighty Road Racing is currently 4th, Bruges 5th, SJ Disco 6th, Cascanova, and then Palermo are bringing up the rest of the GT4 class. Right, come on Drifter, over the start finish line, what we're going to do? 50 seconds left. We'll get another lap in if he needs it. Does not improve on that lap, so it doesn't look like KTM, for whatever reason, is performing, certainly not like she did last week. I mean, she was gone. She was absolutely gone last week. So Crazy's still going for it. Michael's still going for it. These two are going to be pushing so hard. Andy's decided, listen, 3rd's good enough. If I get it, I'm just going to sit in the pits and chill out for a few minutes. Crazies goes into Goddard's. He's going to get one more lap out of this. No, he's going to pit. Right, what's Michael going to do? Is he going to finish it? Yeah, he's going to finish the lap. Maybe Crazies wasn't going to improve, so I thought he'd leave it. Michael, look at that! Wow, at the very end of qualifying, on the last lap of qualifying, Michael pips Crazies to go provisional pole. I've got to say, in terms of qualifying session, that's been one of the best ones I've watched so far. I know it's not quite finished yet. Well, it is now, and individuals can complete the laps they're on, but in terms of drama and 2 guys absolutely going for it, Crazies and Michael Races must have swapped at least 4 times that pole position. Kino, evening Coops. Evening, my friend, hope you're well. Best of luck for this evening, mate. 6th place, it's all good. It's not a bad starting position. If you didn't watch, that was an absolutely epic GT4 qualifying session. Crazies and Michael Races swapped pole about 4 times. So, wow, thank you for that. It's always good. So, there's your grid. What a race we're going to have. There is your grid. Jetpacker's up top with a 127 flat. Looks like he's back in. I don't know if he is or if that's just the timing screens. Clarkey's in 2nd place. Then we've got Ben in 3rd. Ben Milden in 3rd. Ben Gallagher in 4th. So, the Bens have the... oh, damn it. If Gallagher was in a Merc as well, that would have been brilliant, wouldn't it? Because then you would have had the Benz. What a great team name. You boys can pay me for that next season, that's fine. GT Jamie 5th, Keno 6th, Ash is 7th, Pokely 8th, Goofy is 9th, then we've got Cheese who's also standing in today in 10th place. Good effort from you. Drew Bug also standing in the 77 Lamborghini in 11th place. Ams is 12th, Shigs is 13th, and then your Volton is 14th in his Bentley. Venom who's standing in this evening first race, I believe, is 15th, King of the Hill 16th, then we've got Steph in 17th with 2 Shot for You, who had an extended, I would suggest. Yeah, I know, they're a different, I know, literally a different class. Sorry. Mike didn't like that one, mate. Two-shot view had an extended qualifying session there by the look of it, and then we move into the GT4s. Michael Races, as we've seen, was an epic battle with crazies for the pole position there. So 19th and 20th overall, first and second in class. Andy Cray, fantastic in the Ginny. He's third in class, 21st overall. Drifter's fourth in class in that KTM, 22nd. Probably wasn't quite showing the pace I'm used to him pushing out on the GT4 side. Mighty Road Racing's 5th, Bruce 6th. SJ Disco 7th, Cascanova 8th, and Palermoj is 9th. There is your grid. 27 individuals all ready to do battle. Traction says people don't come here for the racing, they come here for the puns. I'm aware of that, Traction. I am. Look, I've got a whole list of them here. Watch, look. See that? Blank. That's what my brain's been doing today. But anyway, so track's gone up to 26, but it is optimum. What are people going to do? Are we going to go for a full 60 minutes without changing tyres, or are we going to take the tyres at the pit stop? That's the question. That's what we all want to know, don't we? So we'll find out. 60 minutes of epic racing on the way. I'm sure everybody that's watching this now, especially if you're driving in this, you're all sweating. Yeah, you're all feeling the pressure. You're all thinking, is Coop's going to watch me? Is he going to curse me? Am I going to crash? Probably, yes. Hopefully not. I want to see really good bumper-to-bumper racing, as we always get in FRL. But yeah, there we go. That's what we need to do. So we're just going to have a little wait. And that was a little wait, wasn't it? That wasn't too long. Jetpacker Clarkey, right. Where do we start? Traction? Who do I start with? Tyres cost 5 seconds. Yes, they do, Ash. And that's what people have got to think about, haven't they? So if you're really good at doing a manual stop, you can obviously then get into the pits. Yeah. Let's go on board with GT Jamie, seeing as he's our resident PS5 coach. He should do a beautiful start. Yeah, that's the jeopardy, Ash. I totally agree with what you said there about the extra 5 seconds. Do you change the tyres and add 5 seconds, and then you would assume, depending on when you're doing that pit stop, you've got to make that 5 seconds back up, and obviously have fresher, grippier, stickier tyres to go and mount a charge on the individuals or defend from people for the rest of the race? Or do you keep those 5 in the pocket, just get in there and have the fuel stop done, and then hope that your car and your driving style doesn't eat the tyres? Who knows? Who knows? We're going to find out though. 1:48. What are they doing right now? I'm sure you could all guess. Answered on a postcard. They're all listening to me and checking their setups. That's what they're doing. They're checking their setups. They're making sure they're good. They're now thinking. They're listening to the stream and thinking about what me and Ash have just been saying about the 5 seconds and the tyres. They're thinking, shall I make an additional change? Shall I change what my, it's like taking a penalty and going the opposite way. But, yeah, they're just checking all those bits out. Obviously, they're all going to be fully fueled. Great minds think alike. What am I thinking now? Yes, I was thinking, how long could I hold my breath? Not very long. I'm getting old, obviously. Good job Timmy's not watching. He'd be straight on the live chat when you're getting well old you are. Even though he's 5 years older than me. Won't say that anyway, 46. So, 48 seconds. Again, remember, this is the Mixed Mondays, Season 5, Round 2 at Donington Park. We have a mix of GT3s and GT4s, all completed their own little 10-minute qualifying session to set their own grids within the main grid. And I think we're going to have some ridiculously good racing. So we will. Don't press drive, Coops. Don't press drive. This race is going to be epic. Yes, it will. Epic. Skaz says, good luck all. Completely echoed. Best of luck, everybody. Clean racing, please. Make it epic, okay? We want to make you all famous. The more epic the racing, the more we can get the whole world to watch it. That's what I'm saying. Right, formation lap is underway. And look at that. Beautiful Ferrari in the pit lane. Blah. Right, let's get out there. Right, GT Jamie gets himself underway. So again, Formula Racing League, you know, full formation lap as expected. No driving through each other. That is a big no-no. Puts everybody off. And, well, I don't see many people doing it in real life. So, yeah, you can't do it on here either, which is a good thing. As GT Jamie overtakes Keno, obviously just taking his position back there. He didn't get a great start on that. Press drive, you'd rather watch the... I can't, no I can't do it. I'm so... Do you know what, every week I'm really tempted on the PS5, be it tacos or mixed Mondays, I'm always tempted just to press it. No mate, that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to show how amazing I am and lead the pack every lap. I'm here to talk about it. Give you all amazing lap guides and information. So it's all good. You can't have much work on tonight, Traction, if you're stuck on this, mate. Or are you having a night off? Right, so anyway, as we come round Coppice, so we will stay on the front of this one for a little while, but obviously we're going to need to move back to the GT4s at some point fairly quickly to see how that battle develops. Because I think Michael and Crazy's race is going to be absolute stonking. You know, they're swapping pole laps through that entire qualifying session. Yeah, you know, I'm feeling we're going to have an epic race. Who's it? JR Sim Racing. Good luck, Ben. Yeah, indeed. Good, and Marty. Don't forget Marty. You like giving him some. You've got 1.5 hour cycle time. Well, I didn't say you needed to do any more exercise, Dave. It was Michael, wasn't it? I think he said that. Right, let's go on it. Let's go. Let's get ready. Right, so through the Melbourne hairpin, everyone's formed up now, 2 by 2. We're going to come up to Goddard's, which is obviously the left hairpin before the start-finish straight, and then everyone. This is it. Everyone's going to be nervous now. Everyone's now thinking about this first lap, first corner, first couple of corners. How am I going to get through Craner's curve? Am I going to die in old hairpin? Please don't let me come across any GT4 drivers. And then your GT4 guys are thinking, wow, I wonder if we can, like, you know, catch some of these GT3 straight away and embarrass them. Don't know. Right, we ready? We are. Race start initialised. Round 2. Round 2, mixed Mondays, off we go, on the run down towards Redgate now, and GT Jamie pulls across onto the left hand side, on the brakes, okay, no touching so far, which is good. You got that beautiful situation where everybody's oh, Jamie, get over there. Oh, Keno manages to take advantage of that, and that's put GT Jamie way offline. You can find that around Donington. Because it is such a quick flowing circuit, if you get offline, you're going to get swamped, and that's exactly what happened there. 3 of them followed each other off. Not massively off, but obviously onto the dirt through Redgate, and obviously that's put him completely out of shape. Keno jumped first, and then Goofy and Pokey followed through. So Jamie now has himself some work to do, but Pokey obliges and gets out the way there. So again, another one taking a little bit too much curb, moving offline, and that's obviously given him some trouble as Ash wants a little piece as well. So Jetpacker is still up front. Clarkie's got himself up to 2nd place there, as you can see, so he's had a good start. And then we've got the Ben's boys, so we've got Ben Milden 3rd and Ben Gallagher in 4th place. So those guys are nicely gapped as we come up to the end of the first lap. Clarkie looks like he wants to put some pressure on. He certainly closed that gap down onto Jetpacker. Obviously the Porsche, she's very, very aero happy, but she should be full of fuel. So this should be the most stable she is through the race. So then we've got Keno's moved himself up a spot into 5th. It's good work by him. Pit lane is now open. You can see that in the top of your screen. You can now see the race timer as well. So 58 minutes, 21 seconds left. Goofy 3rd, GT Jamie's dropped a couple of places, and Clarkie gets himself all out of shape there, coming out of Redgate again. Did that in the first lap, just took a little bit too much curb, so that may be a case of, you know, the extra fuel load on the car. Obviously she's a bit heavier, she's going to push a little bit more, and the Merc is, by definition, very understeery, so she is going to want to, as you're entering the corner, she is going to want to push wide, rather than being oversteery where the back end just wants to rotate all the way around on you. So he's going to have to be mindful of that. So that's cost him time. He was on right on the back of Jetpacker. He's now a second behind. So Ben's in 3rd, keeping an eye on those two. Keno's got himself up to 4th place now. So Mr. Keno looks like he wants to play today, which is great stuff. And then we've got Ben in 5th. Ben's just lost a place. Where? Oh, Ben's lost a few places. Okay, so maybe Ben lost a place being overtaken by Keno, or maybe there was a little bit of contact, who knows. But Ben, as you can see, is falling down the grid quite heavily there. So Goofy is now up to 5th, and you can see he's putting some good pressure on the back of Keno as they go through the Melbourne hairpin. It's all going off here. GT Jamie, he's still in with a shout. He wants those places back. And then we've got Pokley, AMS. Where's a clip? Right, we'll stick on this one whilst we look through. So we'll stay with GT Jamie. As you can see, he's very, very tight to the back of Goofy, and Goofy's trying to close down Keno. So we'll watch these three as we look down the rest of the timing screens. Pokley's in 7th place at the moment as they go into Redgate. AMS is 8th, only 4 tenths behind him. And then we've got a second back to Ash. Steph's in 10th. And then we've got Venom, who's holding his own nicely in 11th place. Cheese is 12th, Shigs is 13th as we come up to Crane of Curves. We've got to get a move down into the old hairpin here. You'd be pretty brave to do that on the brakes. Into 3rd, we've got to be careful. I'm sure Jamie, well, Jamie's massively experienced, and he knows that that Ferrari, temperamental as she may be, if you get her moving correctly, she's fun to drive. As you saw there, Goofy got himself out of shape, and that's put Jamie all over the back of him. He's applying a lot of pressure here, but you can see he's not being leery. Yeah, it's pressure, it's controlled pressure, and Goofy's probably absolutely bricking it at the moment, if I'm being totally honest with you, and thinking, oh my word, that Aston, she's a fantastic car. Oh, and the speed that Jamie was taking through there, wow. Good driving by both, not to collide. I'm saying the Aston, she's a fantastic car, but she is prone. She is prone to doing one of those sort of very slow slides that you can't catch. Or that's just my, level of driving with the Aston. Once that back end starts to go, and it's just what a really slow, and you can't do anything about it. So that's always my worry with the Aston. Other than that, I think she's absolutely awesome. But these two are battling, which is allowing Keno, as you can see, there's a 2-second gap between Keno and Goofy now. So all Goofy's doing is defending with all his might. But GT Jamie, he's pushing. I think he thinks he might get a move either here. Oh, blimey, we're going to stick on this one. So AMS and Ash, they're still back there. And then we've got Steph in 10th, Venom's 12th. Cheese is 12th. Ben Gallagher's ended up in 13th place, remember, from 4th. Definitely had an incident somewhere along the line, as again Goofy just takes a little bit of curb there, which unsettled the Aston, and obviously ended up breaking traction, which again allowed Jamie, who was driving very smoothly in the Ferrari, just to continue with that momentum and get all over the back of him again. Shigs is 14th, Drewbug 15th, King of the Hills 16th, Yvolton is 17th as we go through Fogarty's S's. And then look at that, in the GT4 class, which we will get onto shortly, I do promise you that, we've got TK Drifter is in 1st place, Crazy 2nd, Marty Road Racing is 3rd, Michael's dropped from pole, 1st place down to 4th, so we'll find out traction. Let me know what happened there please if you're watching. SJ Disco 22nd, SJ Disco 5th in class. Oh, steady boys as we go through Goddard's. Andy Cray is 6th in class, then Bruges is 7th, Cascanova, Plurmage and Two Shot for You is at the back of the field. So we've got some pretty spicy battles going on everywhere at the moment. This one is doing particularly well. Let's get on with AMS. So you can see, not the car in front, that's Pokley, but the two in front of that is Goofy and Jamie, so we can keep an eye on what's going on. Beautiful. What an amazing track. You can see the snake of cars, and you can see those battles just as Jamie decides he's going to try and put a move on him. Stop being so epic, I need to look at the battles. Right, Dal, hi Cubes, how's it going? It's going fantastic, Dal. Great to have you with us, mate. As always, hopefully you're feeling better now from that party at the weekend. Yeah, we've got some amazing racing happening so far. Ben's now only 7 tenths behind Clarkey, so he's trying to claw that deficit back. There's no doubt in my mind that Goofy is holding GT Jamie up at the moment, because we see some dust up ahead. Is that oh, Clarkey's had an off, so Clarkey's had an instant. That puts Keno up into 3rd spot. I'm sure there's a little smile on his face after last week with that. So Keno goes through the Fogarty S's, finds himself ahead of Clarkey. Clarkey's now going to come under pressure from Goofy, and GT Jamie's thinking, come on, oh, look at that, they're both gone deep into the Melbourne hairpin. So is this the chance? Is GT Jamie going to get Goofy? GT Jamie does get Goofy. He needs to drift left a little bit to cover off the dive bomb. Obviously Goofy's not going to do a dive bomb. We're all professional here at FRL as they go through Goddard's, and now GT Jamie's going to want to see if he can put some pressure on Clarkey. Fair enough. Right, hopefully he's not far behind. And then AMS is only 6 tenths back as well. What a beautiful view for AMS. AMS is sitting there thinking, right, do I really want to join this fight of amazingly quick GT3 drivers around Donington and risk? Yeah, of course he does. He's driving a race car, and Ash, he wants to get involved as well. He's fighting tooth and nail to catch up with these boys. So we've got more dust being kicked up, and you can see GT Jamie, it looks like going through Schwantz, wants to make a move into McLean's. This is all. Well, it's pretty entertaining, isn't it? I'd say as we're going to Coppice. Oh. I think Clarkey's got a tyre issue there, and you know he's not holding that line enough, or he's overdriving the car a little bit. But we know, I mean, we watched him up close a lot last week. We know he's a very, very quick driver, but you can see, look at her, she's all over the place. And Jamie is just doing his thing. He's just applying the pressure, putting that Ferrari in the right place, and seeing how he gets on. So, a bit further down the grid, we need to look at other battles, but this is the closest one. Or is it? And Goofy now, well, Goofy's getting a lot of airtime tonight in his Aston, isn't he? As we go into Goddard's, because Pokley's now under 2 tenths behind him. Again, Ash is only a further 3 tenths back. What's happened there? GT Jamie has moved over to the left-hand side. So he looks like he's definitely lost some time there. Jetpacker's still out up top. Well, he's just having a lovely time. Look at him. Well, obviously, as soon as I go onto him, he's going to try and crash. But yeah, he's out up top. He's got a 3.7 second lead over Ben, who's then got a 5.5 second lead over Keno. So there's your top 3 in the GT3 class. Clarkey's 4th, Jamie's 5th. Jamie's taken to a little bit of the grass there, so he's pushing hard. But that's not going to help him too much, but Goofy has dropped a second on them. So those two are going to have their own little race by the look of it, because Goofy's got Pokley all over the back of him. Then we've got AMS and Ash as we're coming up towards Coppice, that double right-hander. Take that curb and then slowly squeeze on the throttle. Don't be too quick with that, otherwise the back end's going to step on you. But they all go through there clean, and the AMS is putting a lot of pressure on Pokley as we come up to the Fogarty S's. McLaren versus BMW. Well, we've got quite a few Beamers all queued up behind AMS at the moment, haven't we? I'm feeling the move. It's definitely going to show his nose, try and get him to outbrake himself or go a bit deep into the Melbourne hairpin, which, as you can see, he does. And that allows AMS to get on the throttle nice and early. We know that the McLaren, she's got very, very good traction out the corners. Up to Goddard's, same move tried again, and he does. He goes slightly wide again. That's going to allow AMS a little bit. That was an aggressive move, but I didn't see anything wrong with that. And AMS manages to get his nose in front on the run down to Redgate. So another position, and look how late Pokley is on the brakes there. AMS has got the inside line. Pokley's going around the outside. Oh, amazing, absolutely amazing racing, boys. Nice and clean. Ash is on the back of this as well. I don't actually think I'm going to get a chance to not talk for the next hour, which is fantastic. And look at Cheese all over the back of Venom. So these two, brand new, standing in tonight, they're having their own battles as they come through the old hairpin, and we must give other people a little bit of time. Shigs, there you go, you're in 12th, catching up with Shez, 1.3 behind them. Drew Bug's 13th. Ben Gallagher doing his best to claw his way back up through the field, but he's now down to 14th, so I'm assuming he's picked up damage earlier on. Whether that was a thing of his own making or contact with Keno, I have no idea. I'm sure we'll find out after the race. King of the Hill is running in 15th place at the moment. Your Volton's in 16th, and then we've got TK Drifter just coming up to Redgate. He has got Crazies, well, I'd say all over the back of him. I mean, just in front of him. What a great move that was, and timing to perfection to get Crazies taking that move into Redgate there. So can Crazy stretch his legs? Michael Races, he's not finished either. He's coming back to the front, so he finds himself up into 3rd. He's made that move on Andy from earlier on, and these three, as you can see, are clean away at the moment. Top 3 in the GT4 class. So as you would expect, Crazy's Michael and TK Drifter, no disrespect to anybody else in the class, but you would have to say these are the top 3 drivers. As you can see, Crazy's gets a little bit out of shape there, coming out on McLean's up the way up to Coppice, and that's going to allow TK Drifter to apply a bit more pressure. But I think the one who's got the bit between his teeth at the moment is Mr. Michael Races. Obviously he was quickest, him and Crazy's. Is that Drifter trying to get some more temperature into those tyres? You saw a little bit of weaving going on there, not massive amounts, obviously doesn't want to scrub too much speed. He's definitely trying to put some more temperature in those tyres. No change in the top 3 in GT3 class as the GT4 guys come up to the Melbourne hairpin. Keno's still 3rd, Clarkie's still 4th, Keno's time's gone for a second there. Goofy, GT Jamie's half a second behind Goofy still, so those boys, so Goofy's put a move on GT Jamie. We did see him get a little bit leery a couple of laps ago, going through old hairpin, so maybe he's had another issue. Ams is 7th, we saw that move. Ash is 8th, we see Ash has probably just put a move on Pokey there. Venom's running in the top 10. Congratulations to you, my friend. This is your first race with us. Top 10's a very, very good place to be in a grid with this amount of talent. Jesus 11th, Shigs is 12th, only half a second between those guys. Drew Bug is 13th, a further 1.6 behind. Then we've got Ben Gallagher 14th, King of Hills 15th, we've got Evolton 16th, and then we're looking at these boys, Crazy's, TK Drifter, Michael Races. They've all spread out a little bit now, so Crazy's, again, I think in terms of the stability on the GT4 cars, that Beamer, she's predictable. Yep, she's quick, she's predictable, she's good through the gears, and I think we're seeing that in terms of race pace at the moment. So Drifter 2nd, Michael we're on board within the Porsche is 3rd at the moment, Andy's 4th, Marty Road Racing is 5th, only a second off, so we'll have a look at that. As we could see, wow, so here we go then, ladies and gents. You can see that was a really big fast Porsche, just did a move on that little Ginny, and you know what that means. That means the GT3s have now caught up with the GT4s. We're a quarter into the race, so expect craziness to happen very shortly. So Bruges is 23rd overall, and then we've got Plumage Cascanova who's watching the GT3s. Oh, I can't watch. GT Jamie's gone and done his pit stop already, so he's thinking he's got out of sync in terms of his pace, so we might as well get involved. Are you guys ready for 45 minutes of total craziness? I mean, the first 15 minutes I haven't taken a breath, but it's now going to get ridiculously spicy. Not only we've got pit strategies are going to start to be played out, yeah, because Ben Gallagher's probably thinking about that as well, given his position currently. Look what we've got. We've got the GT3s lapping. You can see Jetpackers flashing away there. Ooh, okay, well Jetpacker, you can't force your way through. We know what the rules are. TK Drifter has to hold his line. It's up to you to make a safe pass, or... And there is your safe pass, so well done. The GT3 guys are going to get held up, but they're all going to get held up as long as everybody does it correctly and everybody sticks to their line. So the GT4 guys, they know what they need to do. They stick to their racing line. If they want to lift slightly on the straight, they can, but it is up to the GT3 car to make a safe pass, and that does not mean barging your way through. I'm not saying anyone's going to do that, but obviously they are the rules, and that's what our guys should be sticking to. As you can see there, we're on the straight. Yeah, Drifter's moved out. I know you need to be on the right hand side anyway, but he made that move very early. That was a clear open door for Ben, who's running second in the GT3 class, to continue down the left hand side and get that move done. There was no problems there. There was going to be no issues, right? So Clarkey, oh, Clarkey's got a big swapper on there, so he has closed down Keno massively. So I'm assuming Keno's had an issue somewhere, or got massively held up in that traffic, because Clarkey's now only half a second behind him, and he certainly wasn't half a second behind him a few laps ago. So we're going to be interesting to see how these two reacquaint themselves properly after last week. Goofy's running 5th, and Ams, look at Ams, he's got himself up to 6th place now. So we know Jamie's done his pit stop, no one else has. So Ams is working his way up the field nicely. Goofy is having, well, do you know what? Goofy's having an eventful race. We can't say anything other than that, really. He's been involved in some seriously good battles so far. I wonder how he's feeling. I wonder who's really feeling the pressure. Ash, whoa, where's Ash? So Ash is just coming through Redgate, so he's evidently been held up because he wasn't too far behind them. And then Venom's running in 8th. Can see Ash in front of him, so he's got a target to aim for. Obviously, everyone's got to keep their awareness in terms of GT4 cars. As you can see, Ash has gone way too deep into the old hairpin there, and Venom, he's not got to wait around. He took advantage of that as he comes up to the back of the Ginetta, so that might be Andy Cray, and he gets that move done. So Ash has also got it done. We're on board with Shigs, he's involved, so we've got a three-way beamer fight as we go through copies. Never ending. Oh my word, Clarkey is 67 thousandths off the back of Keno. Maybe this is a tyre issue for Keno then, because Clarkey seems to have found his rhythm again, and he ducks that straight up the inside of the Melbourne hairpin. Keno, as you would expect, is trying to go back for a switcheroo, but Clarkey just parked on the apex slightly. Smart driving, who wouldn't do that? And he now gets himself ahead and up to third place as we go into Goddard's. But we do have TK Drifter, Michael Races in front. So Michael Races has made the move on TK Drifter. You can see that in front of us as we're coming up towards Redgate. TK Drifter stays left on the brakes. Michael's going to be able to take the line into that corner. As you would expect, Keno doesn't manage to follow through because everyone is respecting those lines. And again, TK Drifter just takes steady on Keno as Clark is all over the back. Clark is all over the back of Michael there. Michael's trying to keep out of the way, but you also have to remember that it's not up to Michael to get out of the way. So brilliant, that's allowed Keno to catch back up. Now, I'm not saying nothing here. Clarkey and his teammates last week worked together very well in GT3 and GT4, and Keno is teammates with Michael. So I'm not saying nothing. There didn't seem to be too much going on there, but you never know. You never know, boys and girls. Right, so Ams is now coming up to get through. He manages to get past Michael, Keno and Clarkey. Keno's got the inside line, but Clarkey goes really late on those brakes, and just, I think the heaviness of that Mercedes just allowed him to be a little bit more stable through there. I wouldn't want to be throwing the Ferrari in there at massively great speeds, because she might just have other ideas on what she wants to do, which is no good for us. So Jetpacker, as we're 20 minutes into this race, so a third gone, Jetpacker is still leading. Oh wow, Keno saw an opportunity there, because obviously Clarkey had to back out because he's got Crazies in front of him, and Crazies is leading the GT4 class. Clarkey couldn't obviously just throw it up the inside of him like he would normally do in terms of his pace, but again, we're at the same point of the track, and Crazies, I think, made sure he kept out of the way there. So Clarkey and Keno both managed to get through, and Clarkey, oh no, don't touch, boys. Clarkey got way out of shape there. Again, I think I've seen that multiple laps so far out of Redgate, so maybe it's a braking point issue or something like that, and Clarkey took too much in there, got onto the grass, got way out of shape. That allowed Keno to get back through up into third place, but now Clarkey's back, back probably on the part of the track that he quite likes. Oh, that is aggressive. That is aggressive. Don't know if there was contact there. That was punchy, to say the least. So these two had an eventful race last week, and they seem to be carrying it on this week, which is great. I mean, there's nothing dirty going on, but I don't know if there was contact there. That was a punchy move. Alright, further down the grid in terms of close battles, Ben Gallagher's got himself up to 10th place. He's now catching up with Shez or Cheese, whichever way you want to say that. I'll say Shez because it sounds a little bit more fancy, that's how we'll put it, into Fogarty S's. So they're catching each other up, and what we got, TK Drifter in front, and you can see TK Drifter's really trying to catch up with Michael, but well, everyone's got to have eyes everywhere. Oh, that's a dive bomb. Okay, so Ben Gallagher, I think we need to note that. What's the time, peeps? Ben Gallagher with 39 minutes into the race, and that was a dive bomb of epic proportions. That was the wrong call, mate. That was the wrong call. So if there's not a ticket in for that, I'm expecting one, because that was dangerous driving as he comes into the pits to get his stop done. If he didn't have damage from the start of the race, he certainly will have after that little incident. So Keno and Clarkey, they're still at it. No stop for them, and well, someone jumped out of the way, didn't they? Massively. Right, Plumage. So Steph's ended up down there in 26. Look at that. So that was the Audi that just jumped out of their way, I believe. Steph's got to be running with some damage, or something's going on. We'll keep an eye on this as they come onto the back straight down towards the Fogarty S's now. And they're both going to get through there safe again this time. Sheiks is only 3/4 of a second behind Venom, so we'll check those two out in a moment. Let's just see how this unfolds. Again, so, you know, Clarkey obviously likes a loose end, there's no doubt about that. You're seeing that Merc, that's a nice move there from Kino. Ouch, well, Kino's waiting. Oh dear, but look at that. AMS is like, you boys can wait all you want. I'm not waiting, and off he goes. Right, wow, some wild driving here cost me 14 seconds of damage. Yeah, I've seen a few instances, Ash. I have seen a few instances, mate. Indeed. Was that you who had the clash with Ben? Maybe. Let me know. I.e., did you get T-boned on the Melbourne hairpin? As we've got two people coming out of the pits there. Again, you've got to be aware, you know, in terms of the track and how the track is set up. The pit lane comes directly out into the racing line, so short pit lane, and it just stops. It's just bam, go for it. So Kino's in the pits. He's going to get his Stockton Cheese or Shares, as we're going to call him. He's also in the pits, getting that Stockton. So Jetpacker, Ben Milden, and Clarkey are your top three at the moment. AMS has got himself up to fourth, and now AMS, he's applying the pressure. So I think AMS has definitely warmed up into this race. We know AMS is extremely quick, but it would appear that he has, well, he's made his way through the pack very, very well. Very, very well. He's got himself up to fourth place so far. Goofy, again, Goofy's just, you know, at the moment, Goofy's probably quite happy because he doesn't have anyone all over the back of him or in front of him. AMS, as we go through Fogarty S's, yeah, look at the pace on that. Look at the pace. I mean, the Merc, we know she's quick. Well, we know she's got excellent traction. But then, so does the Beamer. And we can see that in how AMS has been closing him down. Although I'm sure he's probably running with some damage from the couple of taps that we've seen going on so far as we go into Goddard's. Again, back end wants to, you know, he's definitely, either he likes running with a loose back end or he's just struggling with the car. Heavy right foot syndrome, but we'll see. We'll find out later on. So Drew Hug, look at him. He's having a great race, isn't he? Drew Hug is up into 8th position at the moment, followed by King of the Hills. Is 16 seconds further back. But Drew Hug's got to be happy with this as his first outing. Pokley's in 10th. GT Jamie, pit stop completed, remember. He's running in 11th place. Whether he had any damage and got that fixed, we don't know yet. We'll see how that shakes out. Your Volton yet to pit in his Bentley. There you go. There's old Chris, Mr. Gedman, waving the FRL Administrator Extraordinaire flag. Keeps pinging me. People keep sending me messages, which is fine. Kino is 13th, has pitted. Shez is 14th, has pitted. Ben's pitted. Ben needed to pit after what happened at the Melbourne hairpin, and then Ash has also completed his pit stop. I think he got collected there, unfortunately. Right, GT4s, where are we at? Well, I'll tell you where we're at. Crazies is still out front, leading the GT4 class. Michael is 5 seconds behind in second place, and then Marty Road Racing is currently in third, but he's a further 20 seconds pretty much behind. So those guys are out, they're gone. Bruges is running fourth. So Marty, there's Marty at the moment in his little Beamer, 226. He's running third in class. Bruges is fourth in the 18 Merc, and then we've got SJ Disco as a further 7 seconds behind. So Palermo, he's decided he's going to do his pit stop at the moment. You can just see, I mean, look down the pit lane, look at the speeds they're flying down there, down the main straight, and they're getting on the brakes pretty much where the end of that sort of green part is, and a bit further on actually. So the GT3s obviously are braking very, very late in there and in the pit lane. So you've got to be really careful, have your wits about you. TK Drifter has done his pit stop. Andy Cray has done his pit stop. That was Jetpacker going out in the Porsche, I believe. And Ben's got himself a drive-through, so that's got to be track limits. Where's Jetpacker? There he is. Yeah, so he's just come through. Did just catch that. Andy's done his pit stop in his Ginny. And then you've got Steph, who is still running. Hasn't pitted yet in his Audi. Not having a great race, must have picked up some damage somewhere. And then Two Shot for You, he's still running 4 laps down, but again, great experience. He keeps running, he keeps getting those lap times in, which is good. So AMS, this is for the lead of the race because we've had people in the pits. So Clarkey's leading at the moment. AMS is 3 tenths behind as we come into the Melbourne hairpin again. Goofy's now finds himself on the podium. Obviously no pit stops completed yet, but hey, he's on the podium as it stands. great for him. Venoms is in 4th place, Shig's 5th, Drewbug 6th, and then Jetpacker. So AMS go for the undercut. Wise move. Let's see how long this takes. Let's just have a look. Obviously every week, every time we're live here. Oh, come on AMS, my car's just a bit further up. Blue flag's waving, you can see that in the right hand corner there. 32.5 minutes left of this race. Track temps are all good. Ambient's gone down a degree, track's gone down a degree. Optimum, no rain due, as we've got a Beamer also decides to park it there. That's Shigs, didn't get that right. Obviously you saw the little move back, so didn't hit his markers there. That's going to cost him a few seconds, no doubt. So Ben's got to do his drive through. Clarkie's leading the race by 5 seconds. Then we've got Venoms in 3rd now. These two are in the pits. Jetpacker has done his stop, as we know. So AMS is just completing his stop. Obviously I had to stay here for this moment. Look at that beautiful Ferrari. That's my car. Look at that. Beautiful. Every week. Well, I say every week. Multiple times a week. Right, as Jetpacker, he's gone through. So Jetpacker, he's easily gone through there. He's actually going through McLean's at the moment. Where's Ben? Ben's done pretty well on that pit stop, because Ben's now just going through McLean's. Interesting. So Ben's really closed that gap down. That was about 4 seconds before the pit stops. It's now 1.8. So well done Ben, nice pit stop. Let's see if you can apply some pressure as Clarkie comes in for his pit stop from 1st place. See if you can apply some pressure there. Pokley's currently running 7th, hasn't pitted, and then we've got GT Jamie in 8th, has pitted. So if Pokley decides to jump into the pits right now, that would put Jamie up potentially into 3rd place. Obviously Clarkie's in the pits. Clarkie, you start. And as we are in the pits watching Clarkie to see where he comes out, he's looking at the livery on that Ferrari in front, thinking that's where I got my inspiration from, Coops' car. Of course he did. Remember, Coops Cars on the channel. Have a look. Let me know what you think to the cars and the little bite-sized reviews. Whether you agree or disagree, it's all good. That's what we're here for, to learn and share. Right, so Goofy now finds himself leading the race. Well done, Goofy. You are top of the timesheets at the moment. Look at that, fantastic. Stay there until you need to stay there for ages. So Jetpacker's gone through, easily gone through. Ben's gone through, and then Clarkie, well, he's just completed his stop, but he hasn't gone through yet. GT Jamie has gone through. Look at that. So GT Jamie, doing that early stop, has managed to get some clean air time, and he's got himself up to 3rd place. Where's AMS? AMS has just gone through. Come on, where are you, Clarkie? Where are you, Clarkie? Has he disconnected? Oh dear. Well, okay, halfway through the race. That is really, really unfortunate. So we were just looking at, because obviously AMS pitted the lap before. We wanted to see if AMS was going to get the undercut, because he was only 3 tenths behind Clarkie. I mean, that wouldn't have helped if he was still in, but it looks like Clarkie, having just completed his pit stop, it had just gone green, then disappeared from the server. So it looks like he's been disconnected, which is really unfortunate. Ben's got to serve that. Ben's in the pit serving his drive-through at the moment. So Goofy's in, Venom's in, Drew's in. So the top 3 runners in the GT3 class are all in the pits. Pokley's got himself a drive-through as well, which is unfortunate. So we'll see what that was for. So that's going to mean Jetpacker will rightfully retake the lead of this race, followed by Ben, and you can see, okay, Ben's lost 4 tenths because it was 1.815, I believe. It's now 2.206, but he's still got him in sight, so he's still applying that pressure. If there's a mistake by Jetpacker, Ben could pounce on that. GT Jamie, after having a decent qualifying session, qualified 5th, dropped a couple of places in the first corner, and then fought his way back through, had a little tangle, and ended up off the road. Probably got some damage. He pitted early, so he is going to be net 3rd, as you can see. I know he's basically 24 seconds further back, but he is net 3rd. And then Goofy, as you can see, go on Goofy. Goofy's in 5th. AMS is now in 4th place, as you would expect. So it's all to play for. Keno finds himself will be 6th when, by the time Gedman actually decides to pit, which Keno, well, he probably won't be happy with that. Again, him and Clarkie are having a really, really, really close battle for third place, and there was contact. You know, there was probably a rather aggressive move, I think, the lap before, and then there was either an equally aggressive move or some interesting braking, and whatever happened, and there was definitely love tap at the Melbourne hairpin. So yeah, we'll see what the fallout is from that. So Venom's up to 8th. He's having a great race for his first one. Pit stop completed, running 8th, so potentially 7th because Chris is not far ahead. Shares is 9th in his Beamer, 2.4 behind. Then we've got Shigs, Drew, Lord Ash or Wilson, who was involved, I think, with quite a heavy shunt with, I believe, haven't had it confirmed, but I believe he was involved in the really heavy shunt with Ben Gallagher. And Ben wanted to get past the GT4 car, I believe, into Melbourne hairpin, and went for the dive bomb of all dive bombs. I don't know what he was thinking. Anyway, collected, sort of T-boned somebody, and obviously then went into the pits to get his car fixed. Ended up with a drive-through. So, King of the Hills, as you can see, is not far behind Ash, so he's going to get himself into a little scrap at the moment. So we've got a 444 Beamer and a 888 Lambo. Triple the fun. That's all I'm saying. Triple the fun. Popley's 14th. He's getting a move done now on a GT4 car by the look of it into copies. Just having to wait now. Make sure that McLaren doesn't want to over-rotate. Crazies. There we go. So Crazies leading the GT4 class. Hasn't pitted yet though. So Michael is running second place. He's a long way back though, isn't he? Long way back. So Michael's second. Drifter is third. Michael's got himself pretty much the entire start-finish straight between him and TK Drifter. Bruges is running 4th in class at the moment. So excellent run from him in the Mercedes. And then Marty Road Racing in the Beamer, not too far behind as he comes through the Melbourne hairpin. Andy and his Ginny, yeah, well, he's the lead Ginny. That's what I'm saying. It's all good. Or is he? So Andy's coming into Goddard's. Yeah, and SJ Disco, yeah, is miles behind. He's coming down towards the Melbourne hairpin. Palermo is there. 22nd overall. Steph hasn't pitted yet. Steph's running 23rd in the Audi GT4. Not sure what's happened with him today. Caskanova's 24th. He's still putting in those lap times in the Aston. And he's just, I think Cascanova, I mean, I've spoken to him a few times. Can't believe he's still hogging his space. Of course I am, Dal. That's what I paid for my ticket for. Infield parking. I didn't say where infield, so I thought I'd stick it in the pits. So Cascanova, he's still putting in those lap times. You can see he's got GT3 cars all over the back of him, and I think his race is totally ruined just by the fact that he's trying to keep out of everyone's way. I really feel for him, but again, you know, he's doing the right thing. So just keep going, mate. Think of the points. 2 shot for you. He's still going as well, as you can see. So I'm sure he's picking up more and more every time, every lap, every corner. Watching the other drivers, seeing what their braking and turning points are. Best way to learn. And then Ben is sat in the pits at the moment. Obviously he's decided, no thanks. And he's probably sitting the rest of this race out, which is unfortunate. So, Jetpacker up top as we go through the old hairpin. Coming up towards Schwantz curve. And then into McLean's. Under 25 minutes left. This race is absolutely flying by. So he's gapped Ben now. So that early challenge, well, potential challenge that was going to come from Ben, because obviously the pit stops, was down to 1.8 seconds. And that's now, as you can see, has been stretched to 5.6. So no challenge coming there, I don't think, in terms of pace. Not expected. GT Jamie, he'll be the happiest of the bunch at the moment. He's running in a podium spot. 26 seconds further down the road, and then Ams is 7 seconds further behind him in the Beamer. Ams had a great race so far, you can't deny that. We'll keep an eye if that comes down any more to GT Jamie, see if we can have a podium challenge before the end of this race. Long way to go yet, lots can happen. And Goofy, for all of Goofy's issues, well, I wouldn't say issues, the fact that he was being absolutely harassed at the start of this race, massively harassed, seemed like by everybody. Seemed like everybody wanted to turn, wanted to go at Goofy, poor guy. Look at him, he's 5th place, really holding his own in that Aston. Fair play, mate, fair play indeed. Only 3.8 behind. Ams, Keno is fighting back in 6th place. Was challenging for 3rd, remember, with Clarkey. Pretty much a complete rerun of what we had for the entire race last week between those two. Nip and tuck. Had a bit of contact, had a bit of a move the lap before, you know, half a dozen to one and all that. So Keno pitted, Clarkey pitted, and when Clarkey completed his pit stop, it had just gone green. He then got disconnected, I believe. There's no way he would have been leaving that race. I mean, why would he? He was doing well. So there we have it. That gap between AMS and Jamie hasn't come down any as yet. So Venom's running in 7th place. He's got to be really happy with that as we're coming up towards Redgate. Oh, whoever that Merc is needs to shift out of the way a little bit. Shez is in 8th, as you can see, so there's no doubt there. Venom would have been held up by that Mercedes. That was the number 18 Mercedes, which is Bruges. So he definitely would have been held up, which is going to benefit Shez because he got through a lot quicker. Again, this is the jeopardy of mixed class racing. People are going to get held up occasionally, and it's up to them to get past without losing as much time. Revolt in the Bentley is in 9th place at the moment, still hasn't pitted yet, so Chris is doing what Chris does. He's going to eat those tyres out on that Bentley until the very end. Except he won't be leading this one, which is what he normally does. Yeah, easy. Oopsie. Watch that grass, dude. I didn't mean that. I didn't say it. I did not say it. Okay, just saying, watch the grass. You don't want to be cutting any lines there, do you? Shigs is 10th, so, and he's coming through now to get involved with these boys. Drew Dog 11th. Again, you've got to be impressed. These guys, it's their first runs, and they're holding their own nicely. Ash in the Beamer, he's fighting back. Ash had really good pace earlier on. Again, I think Ash got T-boned at Melbourne Hairpin, and so he's fighting the good fight to try and rescue some points. King of the Hills 13 had a pretty lonely race, if I'm honest with you, so far. He's just been getting those laps in, nice and consistent. Hasn't really been any dramas for him that we've certainly had our eyes on. So he's just looking to collect some decent points, and why wouldn't you? And Crazy is he's still out up front in the GT4 class, but again, as you can see, he hasn't pitted yet. We're almost 2/3, we're just coming up to 2/3 of the race completed. So I think as far as Crazy is concerned, if you're still putting in those lap times, why pit? Just keep trying to build the gap. Yeah, I think that's what he's trying to do. Poakley is running in 15th place. Michael Race is 2nd in class for the GT4s, and Drifter is 3rd in class for the GT4s as he lets probably Ash by him in the Beamer there, or AMS, one of those two. Bruges is running 4th in class, Andy's 5th in his little Ginetta. I love the Ginny. She's brilliant. The boy likes a good line, Coombs. Yes, looks like that. Looks like that, Del. Marty Road Racing, there you go, running 20th overall, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th in class. But he's not a million miles between Andy, so this is the closest GT4 battle we've got, which is for position as they go through the Fogarty S's. So we're going to have a little sit on this one for a while. Steph's in 21st in the Audi, not pitted yet. Then we've got SJ Disco, Palermo in his Audi, and then we've got Cascanova in the Aston GT4. Two shot for you, hasn't pitted yet. He's running last in the 69 Mercedes currently, but I think for him it's more about getting that lap time in. As you can see, your Volton's just pitted from 9th. Shez is only half a second behind Venom, so we will keep an eye on that, see if that comes down any further. But we do need to give our little GT4 friends some time, because that's part of why this race, this series, is so epic, because you've got the multi-class racing, you've got these variables, people fighting in their own races, trying to keep out of the way of the fast guys, and fast guys trying to get past them whilst they're racing. That's what makes it such a spectacle. Still half a second between Venom and Shez, so we don't need to move on that anymore. So GT Jamie, that gap, look at that gap to AMS, that was 6.6 seconds, it's now 4.8. So that gap for a battle, potentially a podium battle, is coming down. So keep that in your minds, 4.8.5. We'll see how much further that could come down. Keno's now only 2 seconds behind Goofy. I'm sure Keno's going to want at least that 5th place back. If he can get 5th place, I think he'll be happy with his night's work. That gap's pushed out now between Shez and Venom to 1.2 seconds, and the fight we're watching at the moment between Marty and Andy is now 3/4 of a second, but that looked like Andy Cray didn't get a great run out of the Fogarty S's there. So you can see Marty Road Racing has closed right up onto the back as we go through the Melbourne hairpin. And then we've got Bruges in front. Wow, fantastic. We're going to have a three-way fight in the GT4s at this rate. Crazy still hasn't pitted, leading this class. Michael is still second, Drifter is still third. Drifter's 8.6 behind. So unless there's a major issue there, I don't think he's going to have 8.6 seconds worth to make up on Michael. And there we go. There are 5 of you still watching. I appreciate that. Say hi, say something. Ask me a question. I don't mind. Whatever you want to do. Is we've got some dirt being kicked up there. Obviously, as soon as I look away from the screen, something else happens. Who's coming through there? Who's coming through? That's 444. That's Ash. So Ash is coming through in his Beamer. Ooh, come on, boys. Oh, look at him hustling. But you see now, you see what's happened there. So Andy was very conscious that he's got a GT3 car behind him, and we've got the King of the Hills. Oh no, that's Drewbug. Drewbug's coming past in his Lambo. So again, you've got people trying to stay on their lines and trying to keep aware of what's going on around them while still trying to attack or defend from the people in front. So the winner out of that at the moment is Marty Road Racing, because you can clearly see Andy lost quite a bit of time whilst being passed by those GT3 cars, probably by being a little bit too offline. Marty probably saw them coming first and made his move, which would have caused the GT3 cars to commit to whatever line they were going to. Smart. So that's allowed him to close up onto the back. But Bruges, wow, look at Bruges, because he's not involved in all this right now. He's managed to build himself. Oh, there we go. As Drewbug makes the pass down at the Melbourne hairpin, Bruges has managed to pull himself a 3-second gap. Oh dear. Well, Marty, wow, we didn't see it. Oh dear. Jetpacker and Ben Milden. Oh my word. Have we had GT3s and GT4s get involved? So Jetpacker and Ben Milden had a coming together there. Well, Ben was not all over the back of Jetpacker, was he? He was 5-6 seconds behind. So unless I've totally missed an epic drive from Ben to attack him, I'm assuming Jetpacker's had an issue, and then maybe a GT4 car's been involved with that as well, and maybe we caught that as Ben was just getting up to him to go by him. No idea. So Ben, he's sprinting away. He's thinking to himself, holy schmoly, 15 minutes left, I could get my second consecutive win of the season here in the Mixed Monday class. So he's off. Jetpacker now has a job to do. He has been by far the quickest we've had here today, and I mean by far. He's been in an absolute league of his own. He's now got a 2.5 deficit to make up and get a pass done, and Jetpacker's track limits, drive through, race done. Wow, he's not going to be happy. He's not going to be happy at all. He's got 3 laps to get that drive through complete as Shez comes in and does his drive through from 8th place. Wowza, so that's been quite a lap and a bit there for Jetpacker. Everything's gone from looking comfortable in the bag to being absolutely ruined, because he's got to come in and do his drive through. GT Jamie's only 20 seconds down the road. You would fancy GT Jamie potentially to get that move done, and Ams isn't too far away at all, is he? So Jamie's going through the Fogarty S's now. Ams is coming up to the breaking point for Fogarty S's. He's not far behind, so both of those could jump Jetpacker when he does his drive through. And then we've got Goofy and Keno, and it's back to lap 1. So Keno's all over the back of Goofy. It's only just over 3/10. Goofy's no doubt going to defend hard, and Keno's got to think, if he's watching or if he knows the information, if anyone's chatting to him, if Luke's watching him and giving him info, or Claire, as Crazies comes into pit from the lead of the GT4s. So we'll see how that one moves out. Jetpacker covers it. No, he hasn't come in yet. So Keno, if you can get that move done without losing too much time, you could end up in an interesting scrap at the front. So Ben is now making his way through the traffic as we come up towards Coppice. Again, the GT4 guys, you can see Jetpacker. You can just, I mean, I think we all know Jetpacker is the quickest here today in terms of his overall package. Yeah, you can see he's rapidly closing Ben down, but Ben also knows it's not really that big of a deal, because as long as I keep my car on the road, even if it's this lap or the next lap, he's got to come in and do a drive-through, yeah, which is going to give him a 20-odd second gap back to GT Jamie. And you know what, if I was Ben and Jetpacker was absolutely right on my tail, I'd actually let him by. Why defend it? He's got to come in and do a drive-through, either this lap or the next one. So Ben's not losing out on this. You know, he can actually start looking after his tyres a bit more if he needs to. As you see the warning there, that Jetpacker's got one more lap to come in and get that drive-through done. So, right, Jamie now knows he's got to get his head down. And AMS isn't too far behind, it's 4.3 seconds, so again, that's pretty much stabilised from where we got to, 4.3, we'll see. Keno's got the move done, well, has he, or has Goofy had an issue? Well, Keno's got himself up to 5th. Venom, it's saying Venom's ahead of Goofy, but obviously he's not, so obviously they've swapped places and swapped back again. So Goofy finds himself again having a battle with someone trying to apply some pressure to him. Sheeks is 8th, Shez in 9th, having done a drive-through, and then Ash has got himself up to 10th place, coming up towards 2-shot for you. So he's going to put a lap on him. Blue flags are waving, just be careful, obviously. We've got to be careful when we're coming up to drivers that are new. We don't want people having a heart attack and jumping offline, so that was well done. So Ash is running back in the top 10. That's good for him. Drew Bug's in 11th. King of the Hills is 12th. So we've got the two Lambos nose to tail there. And then we've got your Voltons in 13th. Has pitted, remember, so Chris should have a straight run now to the finish line. Hopefully with those fresh tyres, if he put tyres on, he'll be able to close King of the Hills down and have a bit of a scrap with him at the end. Pokey's 14th. Crazies, having done his pit stop, is still leading the GT4 class. But what's that I hear you say? Not by much. Look at that, Michael's under a second behind him as they come up towards Coppice, as we get a GT3 car, pesky GT3 car, getting in the way there. I'm only joking. So Crazies is leading, he's under a second from Michael. So again, we could have a grandstand finish, just over 10 minutes left of this hour race. Remember, in qualifying on the GT4s, Crazies, who you can see there in the blue and orange liveried Beamer, Crazies and Michael, who were on board with, they were exchanging fastest laps through the entire 10 minutes of their session, and Michael won out in that. But at the moment in the race, Crazies has run a longer stint. Michael did quite an early stint. Crazies has run a longer stint before pitting, and look at them, they've both come out together. So fantastic racing, great consistency as always, and I'm sure they're both having a lot of fun out there today, trying to plot now how we defend or attack to win or not win this race. Drifter is in 3rd place. He's not a million miles behind. Obviously blue flag you can see on his screen there, so he's just making sure he's out of the way of Drew Bug in his Lambo. So as we come through Craner curves, we'll stick on board with 1 and 2 in the GT4 class into Old Hairpin on the brakes, off, swinger in. Well, I'm 100% sure that Porsche is taking more speed through there. As you can see, he's closed right up onto the back of Crazies. So, racecraft time, boys. Are we going to have any love taps, or are we going to keep it nice and clean? So, as I'm watching these boys come up into Coppice, Jetpacker, whoa, as Ash gets himself between them in Coppice. Ash probably could have just waited there and just taken them both on the straight, but anyway, he's gone for that move. So he's got past Michael, he's now got past Crazies into Fogarty S's, so these two can now get back on with their scrap, I suppose. So Ben's leading at the moment. Jetpacker has done his drive-through. As you can see, he's come out in 3rd place, so GT Jamie elevated to 2nd. Remember, qualified 5th, lost 2 places at the start as Michael takes a much tighter line through the Melbourne hairpin than what Crazies did. Did Michael take tyres, and did Crazies not take tyres? This is where these things are going to be massively important, as Drew Bug manages, again, I love it, look at it, GT3s slotting in, carving their way through the GT4s. So Jetpacker is 3rd, but he's only 1.4 seconds, according to that, behind GT Jamie, so I'm sure Jetpacker would love to at least take 2nd place back. and minimise the points loss that he is potentially going to suffer at the moment at the hands of Ben Milden, who, remember, if Ben can hold on for another 8 minutes and 15 seconds, that'll be 2 out of 2 for him. So yeah, that's a good start to his Mixed Monday series. AMS is in 4th place, he's only 3.9 further back. Jetpack is only 8 tenths. Ooh, boys, what do we do? What do we do? Let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick gander. As you can see there, GT Jamie in the 141. Remember, he pitted really early because he'd had an issue and went off track. Maybe got a little bit of damage, but certainly got that pit stop done. So even if I would suggest GT Jamie change tyres on that pit stop, it was that early that he's going to be feeling a bit of pain in those tyres. But you can see Jetpacker is pushing really hard, and he's just gone off track himself. So that's going to be more than a second now. And obviously, as the fuel wears down in that Porsche, you will all, if you're not aware, in terms of where the fuel tank is in the Porsche, as the fuel load burns off, obviously the cars become quicker and lighter. That doesn't necessarily help the Porsche because of her aero balance. The lighter she gets with that short wheelbase, the more she wants to over rotate. So car control and being gentle with her is even more important. So we'll see. Oh, Jamie got a terrible run out of there, so he must have gone himself a little bit offline. So you can see Jetpacker is now right on the back of him into Melbourne hairpin. There's definitely going to be a challenge coming somewhere. 79 drive-through, track limits, 3 laps. That's Chris. That's your Volton, yeah. So Chris has got himself a drive-through as we go into Goddard's. This is for 2nd place, remember. So Jamie, what's he thinking? 6 minutes 38 seconds left. Is he thinking, right, we're getting some flashing going on? Well, it doesn't have to get out your way, Jetpacker. Obviously this is for position. Is Jamie going to defend that? Or is Jamie thinking, this guy is evidently quicker than me? Yeah, he's evidently quicker than me. Do I fight him tooth and nail to lose time, or do I just keep full pace for as long as possible? If the move's coming, let him go by and just be more concerned with AMS, yeah, who is in 4th place, who's 3.7 behind these two, to minimise any damage for him. I don't know. What would you guys do if you're watching? What would you do? Would you fight tooth and nail for that 2nd place, knowing that Jetpacker is quicker, has been for the entire race, or would you make sure you minimise time loss to get a podium? Come on, tell me, guys. Tell me. What do you think? Keno's in the pits. Why is Keno in the pits? Oh dear. So Keno's in the pits. Stop complete. Why? Maybe that's a fuel issue then, because he completed his stop already. So maybe Keno didn't put enough fuel in. I'm not sure. I'm sure he'll tell us afterwards. Right, as we watch this one, under a second between them, I need to go down this way because we need to go back on to the battle as Keno comes flying through there up the back of Crazies. You're not going to dive through there, Keno. I very much doubt that. These are dangerous moves, Keno. Oh, Keno tries to dive up the inside of the old hairpin, makes contact with Crazies. I think that move was a little bit too aggressive potentially there. I mean, obviously he's carrying a lot more, you know, the GT3 cars are going to carry a lot, oh dear, a lot more pace through there, as that did happen. But so you saw that caused Crazies, those two had a little bit of contact, which allowed Michael to take advantage of that, which he did, thankfully. He said, yeah, thanks very much. So Michael took advantage and has gone into 1st place. But look at that, then Michael's just had a little off, which is giving Crazies a much better run coming out of Coppice. And then we've got the straight down here towards the Fogarty S's, and Crazies manages to take that lead back. This is just like the qualifying session. Dale says not enough fuel, I guess. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Dale. That's what I think happened there. So Crazies and Michael again swapping places at the top of the GT4 class. It's absolutely relentless for these boys. GT Jamie has now pulled a 1.9 second gap out from Jetpacker. So, okay, there you go. Defend for all you're worth and pull out some time. Jetpacker was working really hard. We saw that, and has maybe had another little wander off track. So GT4 guys is only a 10th. That's longer than a 10th. That's more like 4 tenths at the moment, or according to that 7 nearly. TK Drifter is still 3rd place in the GT4 class, so he's being consistent. He's going to get some good points today, and we can always fight next week. Andy Craig, great job for him, 4th place in the GT4 category. Bruges is 5th in that GT4 Cat, and then Mighty Road Racing is 6th. We saw him have an issue earlier on. That was close, Michael. I think if you took any more speed in there, mate, you were going to get a bit of grass. Blue flags are waving, so this is going to mean we're going to lose a little bit more time, or we're going to hold somebody up. We'll find out in a moment. Again, if we had different camera angles, I could show you all of this great stuff happening. Oh, we've got someone off track there. Who is that? That looks like a GT4 Audi. So that's Steph or Palermirage. That's Palermirage. There we go. Okay. So, is Michael going to be able to take advantage of this? So, Palermirage decides, is he going to get involved? No, he's moved out of the way. GT Jamie's coming through there, but he's got nowhere to go. GT Jamie's got nowhere to go. Palermirage moved out the way to the left, and Crazy's, as he is entitled to, and as the rules state, is holding his racing line through the Fogarty S's down into the Melbourne hairpin. So obviously GT Jamie is going to have much better brakes and acceleration through there, so he gets that move done. But that means Jetpacker is right in the middle of this mix as well. So Jetpacker's coming up towards Michael Races, up towards Goddard. He's going to get the move done on him there. He's flashing away. Crazy's has turned in. Oh my word! Wow! Wow! See, but Crazy's doesn't have to get out of the way. Crazy's was taking his normal racing line in there, and Jetpacker in his hurry obviously doesn't want to lose any more time to GT Jamie. I mean, he decided he was sending it. Now, he had to back out of that. If he had have sent it, there would have been a T-bone on Crazy's, and then obviously he's gone past, that was Bruges just gone past through Fredgate, and he's got all out of shape again. He's gone onto the grass, and just look at it. This is furious. It's furious. It's brilliant. Michael's a nice guy, but he never gave that place back. Crazy's and Keno, I mean. Michael, see what happened. Oh, that is fair play for Michael. Wow, we've got it all going on, guys. It is relentless. It is epic. And look, we've still got this battle going on. Venom and Goofy. Goofy's had so much airtime today, which is brilliant. But look, I mean, where's Ams? Ams is up there. Goofy and Venom, there's only 3-2, maybe 2 attempts between these two guys as they get their battle going. Who's that in front of them? That's a McLaren in front of them. So that's maybe Pokeley. As we come up towards Coppice, so Crazy's and Michael are still having their battle. That's 7 tenths now, so we'll keep an eye on it.
Pit window is now closed.
Pit window is closed, boys and girls, so if you haven't pitted, it is a bit too late, but everyone has pitted. So Jetpack is 2.5 seconds back. Ben's on his last lap as we go into the Fogarty S's. What a fantastic finish we've got. So Jetpack is 2.5 seconds back, but Ams is only 2 seconds back. Ams could, if he has the lap of his life. I mean, there'd have to be some issues going on, but hey, who knows? Always be optimistic, that's what I say. Ams could still get a podium if Jetpacker pushes too hard for GT Jamie. So Goofy's running in 5th place, which has pretty much been the whole race. And, you know, he's been under some serious pressure in this race, as he is now from Venom. He's got to get one more lap completed. Venom knows he's got one more lap to get a move done. Now, we don't want to see dive bombing, because that's not the way, that's not the FRL way. We want to see nice clean racing, which everybody's given me this evening. And I mean, it's been, okay, well, I think we've had 2 or 3 incidents which we'll get looked at. And look at that, look at Drewborg in 10th place. He's only half a second behind Ash, so there's a fight going on as well. Jetpacker's got it down to 1.8 seconds. What's going on with these guys? Half a second between Crazy's and Michael. Right, let's get on board. So Ben Milden coming through the Melbourne hairpin. We will get back on board of Venom in a moment. Ben Milden, look at that, up towards Goddard's. Second round, second victory for Ben. He did say on his Facebook page he's got a busy day, a busy week of racing. He started it off very well. Congratulations, Ben. Second win for you in the series. Excellent racing, my friend. He takes the victory. GT Jamie's just coming through Goddard's now. Remember, qualified 5th, had a bit of an issue, pitted early. He's brought that car home in 2nd place. Well done, GT Jamie. Excellent drive from you. And Jetpacker will probably be a bit gutted, to be fair. I mean, he was by far the quickest in qualifying with a 27 flat, and was leading this race comfortably. There was an issue somewhere. I'm sure we'll find out later on. So Jetpacker, what? Oh, Ams has just decided to finish in 3rd. Really? Okay, well, I'd say Jetpacker was 3rd and Ams was 4th, but computer's saying different. Goofy comes home in 5th place. Well done, Goofy. Fantastic race from you, mate. Pretty much 5th the entire race, under pressure, having great battles. Well done. Venom didn't manage to get the move done. He's 6th. Shigs is coming around in 7th place, and then Shares is just coming around Goddard's now. He's going to be 8th. Ash has managed to fight his way back up to 9th by the look of it after getting T-boned, and then in 10th, Drewbug not far behind Ash at all as we come up to Goddard's, but a great race from you, Drewbugs, for standing in this evening in the 77 Lambo. Well done to you. Keno's in the pits in 11th. Your Volton's finished 12th and is doing what he does, which is celebrating with dust. King of the Hills 13th, Pokey 14th, Crazies parked up behind the best car on the grid, 101. Goofy here, good God, I'm sweaty mess after that. Goofy, Julian, well done. Brilliant entertainment, buddy. Great race from you. I am not surprised you're sweating. You've had to work hard for that. So Crazies takes the win in the GT4 class, closely followed by Michael Races. As we know, those two had an absolutely epic qualifying session, swapping laps every other lap, and they were nose to tail during the race as well. So look, only 2 attempts between them after an hour. TK Drifter finished 3rd. Well done to you, mate. Andy Cray 4th in the Ginny. That is more than respectable. Bruges in the Merc, then Marty Road Racing in the Beamer. SJ Disco in his little Ginny finishes 20th overall. Then we have Palermo's Cascanova, and then Steph. Well, Steph, you know what, mate? I know it's 6 laps down. You finished it, and that's all that counts. 2 shot for you again. Good experience for you, buddy. You've done the full hour, so well done. It's all experience. And Ben finishes 16th, well, he didn't technically finish the race, I don't believe, because he had the drive-through and then came into the pits, but hasn't bombed out the server. So thank you for doing that. Blimey, there we go. Mixed Mondays, season 5. Remember, round 2 at Donington. Epic. Well done, Ben, Jamie, Jetpacker, AMS, guys. Fantastic racing, great drama. I know there were some issues, but it's going to happen when you've got mixed class racing. But for the whole, I think that was, hey, Monday night, awesome. Well done, everyone. I'll see all of you lot, in terms of the GT 3s and 4s back next Monday. You guys that are watching, thank you very much. I appreciate it. If you haven't left a like, please do leave a like. If you haven't subbed, leave a sub. It really helps. I will see all of you back for more FRL commentary tomorrow night, because it is the start of Taco Tuesdays again. Oh boy, my little children are back. It's going to be epic. 2 full grids on the PS5. I'm really looking forward to it. So thanks to everyone for watching. Great racing, guys and girls. Well done. And we'll see you back this time next week. Blimey. Right. Comms by Coops. Out.